You know, growing up on a farm, there's one thing you could count on when wintertime hit. You was going to be cutting firewood, you're going to be feeding the cows, and one thing else, you're going to be chasing coyotes. And that's what we're doing this week. This week, we're going to stay in Greene County, we're going to fight the elements, and we're chasing my favorite animal, coyotes. This is trapping time.
Well, look who I got out of bed this morning to go check traps. Gets old seeing those dogs bouncing.
This is my story. This is my time. This is Trapping Time. Trapping Time is brought to you by Trapping Girl Incorporated, Night Owl Lures, Old South Lures, Southern Snares and Supply, Smokey's Deer Lure, Trap Shed Supply, Webster's Predator Control, Duke Traps, Wolf Creek Products, Sawmill Creek Baits and Lures.
It's Christmas Day. I did the family thing. Now I'm doing the trapping thing. Gonna have traps out. They don't stop for holidays. I'm one of my favorite little properties here. This property's really turned on here lately. Week of Thanksgiving, we come in here and we busted some dogs now. I ended up catching, I think, 4 out of here in a week, which is really good. I come in from a different side today. Sometimes I like to mix it up a little bit. It gets old. Sometimes I think it'll change your luck if you come in from a different direction. So I decided to come in from a different direction today. I didn't catch nothing. It's third day. We all know how my rule of 3 is. Oh, there's an empty trap. Well, actually, those 2 sets right here on the right-hand side of me is where I caught all the dogs at. Well, I caught 2 of the dogs I caught were right there. I got this big field out ahead of me here. We'll stop right here and give you a little panoramic. I mean, it's just one of those places that just screams coyotes. They used to bale it up every year. For some reason, they didn't really bale it this year. I think they just brush hogged it off, so I don't know why, but I'm not here to judge. But I kind of like it because there's a lot of dog sign. Right up here, I got a trap that probably the biggest coyote dump I ever seen in my life. When I was coming back to reset my traps, he had left his calling card, so hopefully we get lucky enough to snag him. Let's see what we got. Woohoo! Looky there. Would you look at that? I don't know if you guys can see it there. Get up here. We're catching a lot of young dogs. A lot of young dogs here, but any coyote's a good coyote. Let's see what we got here. Now what we got here is an absolute muddy mess. He tore this hole up. I mean, absolutely. If you look and see what I got happening here, we've got this clump of garbage that when for some reason they put all this dirt right here, and over the years, of course, they can't brush hog around it because they got all these briars. You can see all behind it, but it just makes a natural place to set a trap. There's an old road that comes around here and it runs up into the top part of this field. Where's this using this? This is a slam dunk sense. I've caught so many coyotes out of this location right here over the last few years, and it's just one of them deals. You leave your sets here long enough, you know they're going to connect. I had a dirt hole there, and I had a dirt hole here that they actually came in we had set this at Thanksgiving. They came in and reamed out the hole. It poured the rain down the day I come to set traps, so it was full. So what I did is I made another dirt hole above it, and I did the same thing here, which this remake here is going to be really interesting because he's got a hole dug out now. So what I'm thinking is we'll do some type of trench set in order to entice them back in here, because now we've got some calling cards there. There is droppings everywhere. If you look, this is part of that big old coyote poop that I was telling you about that was here when I come. The day I come to set traps, it was like right there. But now we've got poop everywhere here. So we've definitely got plenty of smell out here. But I love this right here now because now we got this burn circle here. So any of these coyotes that come around here, or even foxes, because we are targeting foxes on this property as well, any of them come around here, they're going to naturally want to come and see what the heck tore this up and why. We have another set right here beside me. We're probably, I'm going to say 10 feet apart. I want to make sure that if I catch two coyotes, they can't get to each other, but I want them close enough that they can smell the two different smells. So we're going to take in, we'll get him out of here, we'll get this remade, and hopefully catch another coyote.
From the hills of West Virginia, Smokey's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at smokiesdeerlure.com.
This portion of the show has been brought to you by the Duke Pro Series 550 Offset Cool Spring Trap. Be sure to check it out wherever Duke traps are sold.
Hello, trappers. If you're looking for a great smelling bait that really puts the predators into dinner mode, then Blackout Predator Bait by Trapping Time TV should really be on the menu. What we have is a beaver-based bait with a few added ingredients that really gets their mouths watering. This is a bait effective from the early season all the way to the end. It's great on canines as well as cats. Stuffed down a dirt hole or in a cubby, Blackout Predator Bait will definitely make them come to the dinner table hungry.
Now, boys, what we have here is just an utter muddy mess. So, what we got to work with here, we inspected our trap, everything's good. So now we got to try to get some of this garbage out of here because, now you remember, there was already a trap bed here. We'd made it the week of Thanksgiving and actually had no luck with it. So this has been saturated with water. I mean, bad. We've had the rainiest year, I believe, in history. I seen a statistic the other day. This part of the country has had the rainiest. It's been the rainiest ever in history, double like what our normal amount is. So you kind of got an idea what we're dealing with here. Now this coyote came in here and just demolished my site, which we don't care because we caught the coyote and that's the important thing. But now we got to try to, because I love remakes, because remakes are usually successful because these coyotes, they know there's been one dog here, so the chances of catching another one are very, very good. We've got a depression here. It's probably 10 inches around. Biggest thing is we're going to make sure our trap gets back in and get it good and solid. And then we're going to take in, we're going to get creative. We're going to make almost like a little bit of a trench set here. And we've got this hole here where he was digging. So you want to make sure your trap is bedded solid. All right, that trap, because the way this set's designed, there's going to be some foot traffic on it. They're going to be moving up and down here a lot. So we're going to take a shovel and we're going to give him a reason to want to work this trench set. We're going to dig this down, and it don't have to be super deep. I think that's the driest dirt I found all trapping season right there. It doesn't have to be super deep. We just want the eye appeal. All right. Now we're going to take some of this stuff here, and we're going to build us, just like the name says, we're going to make us a trench. Take this mud and form it up down along there. We want to give him a reason to kind of work his way down in there. It's going to be like beavers building a dam. Get it good and packed in there. This makes a nice cat set too. It's funny how creative you got to get when it's miserable rain like it has been. Just make sure your trap, your jaws and everything are cleared so your trap will still fire. All right. We want that a little bit slicked up. And you guys that are worried about peat moss being shown all the time, I'm going to make your day because I'm going to show you something with this peat moss. I'll probably have to go get a little bit more of it. But I'm going to show you something with it. That way you guys won't. All right. So we've got that there. We got the trap peat moss in. I'm going to get up, I'm going to get a little bit more peat moss, and I'm going to kind of blend this all in just so it looks a little more natural. We don't want any refusals. We want this coyote coming in here jumping. So let me get a little more peat moss. All right, we're back. Just sprinkled all around there. I don't want to give this thing any reason. Just because of the type of set. Normally, you guys know me. I could care less if my peat moss is showing. I know a lot of guys are scared to death to have it because they're afraid they're going to get refusals. But it doesn't really bother me because I want this set to draw his attention. Just sprinkle all that peat moss right around there. All right. Try to stay away from the hard edges. You know, that's the biggest thing. You don't want it to look like, you know, that you stopped. You want it to all kind of blend in. All right, now we got our depression there. You see I took my driver and I made me a little bit deeper hole. Took my gloves off here. Now we're going to put some stuff in there. Let's see what we got. Sure, we'll try some blackout. Take a little blackout. That is more than enough, guys. You know, we always say, it don't matter how much bait you put in there, that coyote isn't going to grow anymore. You just want to get his attention, which blackout's a beaver-based bait. All right. Get that down in that hole. And because our bobcat season, we're in Pennsylvania, our bobcat season is in, and I think this is going to be a good spot to catch bobcat. And I know these coyotes really like this. This is my bobcat matrix. It's a little bit thinner and runnier than I normally use for my coyote sets, but for this set here, it'll be perfect. All right, now that's our finished set. I'm gonna get my stuff out of here. I'm gonna get you guys some close-ups of this, and you'll see what I'm talking about this modified trench set here. We got some poop here. Just toss it around there. I'm more of a haphazard kind of guy. I know a lot of guys will put it around the pan. That's not me. I just like them to know that the coyote's been here. So, I mean, there's poop right there as well. So, I'm going to step back. I'm going to get you guys a nice close-up of this and see what we're talking about here. And get this coyote loaded up, move on, see if maybe we can get lucky and catch another one. Man, what I wouldn't give to have some beautiful weather when I'm out trapping coyotes. When we come back, we're going to the trapping time set of the week.
Well, you see, trappers are a special breed of people. We're dedicated, committed, and passionate about what we do and who we are. Each and every one of us has an intense desire to be the very best we can. So in the world of skinny jeans, man buns, and pumpkin spice lattes, sometimes you just have to stop, push back, and tell the world, that's not me. Whether you're from the far north or in the deep south and anywhere in between, Southern Snares can help you succeed at getting the job done and being who you are.
Robbie Gilbert here, host of Trapping Time TV. Hard to believe, Season 5. We'd like to give a big shout out to all the fans who made this possible. To show our appreciation, we're offering 10% off our entire website from now till December 31st, 2019. Just enter coupon code TRAP10. We carry a full line of trapping supplies such as Duke traps, Webster's Predator Control baits and lures, Sawmill Creek, Trap Set Supply, Old South lures, Night Owl lures, and many more. Before your next trapping purchase, enter TRAP10 and take advantage of all the great deals at TrappingTimeTV.com.
Well, the dogs were definitely moving last night on this property. Number 2. I'm not 150 yards from where I just caught that other one. Another young coyote. So this set here, I knew it was going to hit. It's the first year I've trapped this part of the property because they always bail it. And it's just never really a good spot to make a set. Well, they didn't bail it this year. They cut strips around the outside and that real heavy brush. And I just had a feeling we was going to connect. This is second night check and caught 2 coyotes within 150 yards. Yeah, I'd say it's working.
Let's get that out of there. Come on. This is the fun part, catching coyotes. Now we got us another young dog right here. That tells me the population here is really good. Last year I took a lot of dogs off this property, but it was all mostly late season. I pulled up in here. This is the second night check, and we've already taken 2 off this property. Guys, there's nothing special about this setup. This is what you'd almost call a slam dunk. Behind me, the farmer had cut this path around here, and these fields just keep tying into each other. There's a big hardwoods ridge out here, probably about 250 yards. These coyotes are coming out this ridge. They're coming in here hunting for mice and whatever else they can find. And these young dogs especially, they know there's food here. Mama's had them here all year long, and they know there's food here, and they are coming after it. The fur doesn't look too bad on them, but they are young. It's still kind of early. This is Thanksgiving Day, so it's going to take them another few weeks before it really starts to get really good, that real prime that everybody wants to see, especially in the fur market. Just using our 175. Now this here was more of a chaff set, I like to call it. I took up some of this loose hay and stuff and kind of piled it up, kind of a mouse nest type looking thing. Made them work it really good. This dog committed very good. Exactly what you want when you're trapping coyotes. Full pad commitment. Well, we're going to get this set remade, get him out here, get this set remade. We'll get you a look and see what we're looking at here as far as set construction and stuff. And we're just going to move on, and maybe we'll catch us another one today. I'm feeling lucky today. You know, one of the most important things on any remake is making sure your trap's still in working condition. You know, you want to make sure that all these swivels and our chain and everything are clean, because we want this thing to be able to move. And what ends up happening a lot of times, this grass gets tangled up in there. I mean, they're working this set, boys. They're wanting out of there. So they start rolling and working and pulling, and a lot of times this gets tangled up. Anybody that's ever caught a possum, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. A possum will just sit there and spin, and he will have that chain so tangled up, it's like an act of God to try to get all the grass out of it. But with these coyotes, you know, we're dealing with a lot bigger animal. That's probably a 20-some pound coyote that was in there last night, compared to your 4-pound possum. So you want to make sure that everything's working, because when this trap fires, you're wanting to hold him there, especially if you're running a decent sized line. Here in Pennsylvania, we've got a 36-hour check. That means you're checking them every day. But so you're basically looking at 24 hours that you're going to have to hold this dog there until you're able to get to him and check him out. So let's get our bed cleaned out here. Now this set wasn't nothing spectacular. Every once in a while, I'll come in and mix it up a little bit rather than my standard dirt hole. Though I've found that dirt hole probably catches just as many of them. But sometimes you get tired of looking at the same thing. And when you're punching sets in, sometimes it's nice to throw something in a little bit different. So you just want to make sure your bed and everything is good and solid. You know, I always say that cable, it pops up. So you'll find that if you don't get it down in there, when you're making your remake and you're trying to get this trap bedded, it'll push that trap up from the bottom. Alright, we got our bed, chains beat down in. I'm right-handed. I always go dog to the right. Don't ask me why. It's just always the way that I've done it. Get that trap down in there. Solid. Trap's not going anywhere. One thing nice about when we had the cutter, it leaves a hard edge all the way around it. Even though everything else gets blown out and everything gets in the middle, it still leaves that pretty hard edge. I'll pop his trap back out of here. In my haste, I forgot to set the pan. He'll have that. There we go. And a lot of you guys ask me about night latching. You know, I use the same trap all the time. I'm using the 175 Duke. I've set so many of these things, and just by habit, I know where I need to level it out at. So I don't night latch. It's a great thing if you like to do that kind of stuff, but it's not really my cup of tea working on traps. And I've found that I'm able to get my pan where I need it to be, so I don't really worry about it too much. Folks, be sure to check out our all-star lineup for the upcoming season. New for 2018 is the hard-hitting blackout predator bait. If you're looking for a beaver-based bait with some kick, this is it. We're also proud to add to the batting order our line of mouse-based baits. If you're looking for a mice bait so pure it's practically eating cheese in the container, then you will want to try Peyton's Pretty Mouse. Maybe you're looking for a bait with some long-range appeal for those cold winter nights, then you've got to try Peyton's Dirty Mouse. When you're serious about trapping predators like we are, then be sure to make your next purchase at TrappingTimeTV.com.
from the hills of West Virginia. Smokey's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at smokiesdeerlure.com.
We're gonna come in here with our drop right there. Now, how lucky is it when you find your hole right away? That tells you that you're setting too many traps. All right, we got our hole, and it doesn't have to be super big. We're just using it to hold lure. That's all we're using it for. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this here. All right, once I get to that point there, now I'm gonna take my peat moss. Like I said before, that little thing there I found at the dollar store is about perfect when it comes to amount of peat moss. It takes about one of them to do it. All right, now we're gonna take, you guys heard me talk about my mouse nest set. This is basically what we just turned this thing into. And you want it tight, so when you pull that out, that hole is still there. We want that eye appeal. Now, try it when I'm blending back in. I hate leaves covering my trap. I've had more issues with leaves, but what's nice is they've tore this up so much, there's all kinds of shredded grass. Just take a little bit of it, just to blend it in a little bit, just to take a little bit of that fear factor out of it. One thing nice about these young pups, they commit so fast. All right, now we got that part done. Let's get the bait and lure in it. That way we can walk away. Now right here's our hole where our bait's going in. We're probably about 6 to 8 inches up high with that mound. So we're going to take, since we're using a mouse nest set, we're going to take some of Peyton's Dirty Mouse and we're going to get it down that hole. It's not super loud. It's actually, as far as it's just got a little odor to it. Dang thing. All right, get that in there like so. And that's pretty much all we're going to do. Now we are going to put a little 007 by Old South in there, just because I want something just a little extra. All right, and guys, that's it. Our trap is right here. Right here's our pan. If I was to push that down, I'm gonna fire that pan right off. Now look how it is in comparison to our object. You know, you're probably 6, 7 inches from the hole itself to the back side of the pan. So that pan's probably 2.5, 3 inches. So right here's your pan. I like to set close. I want them working this set because of what's in here. I don't want to catch them back here a foot. I want to catch them right here. But if you use that little setup, I think you're going to put some more fur in your shed. You know, folks, not every time or every experience on trapline the weather's perfect. And that's what separates us from the guys that don't trap. You know, we're out there putting the hard work in, doing what it takes to try to get an animal to put its paw in a 2-inch circle. That's what separates us from a lot of outdoorsmen. Be sure to join us next week. We're headed to Mississippi, and we're doing what we call our Mississippi mix-up. We're going to be catching coyotes, cats, and nutria. Oh my! Just like we always say, we're keeping the tradition alive here at Trapping Time.